Hey docs, we've got a super valuable tip today and it revolves around this theme of freedom. If you've got patients that are leaving your practice, they're leaving your office, it usually points to one thing, and I know this is gonna help you out. Oftentimes it comes down to skipping the re-exam. Now I get it, the re-exam isn't sexy, but nothing says that you can't delegate the re-exams to somebody on your team. Now what I mean by that is if you have systems in place that are structured and you're organized, the outcome of that is actually more freedom. What I realize is a lot of docs don't enjoy their re-exams, or they get busy seeing patients and they skip the re-exams. Unfortunately, you show your patients what's unimportant when you skip it. We've got a practice model that we teach at the Elements of Closing where you can tag in your CA to do your consults and your exams to help you at least in part with the day one procedure. If not, do 80% of it. Now the value here is when your CA is tagged in, then they are also an authority in your practice and they can do all of your re-exams. Therefore, you don't skip your re-exams, you have a system, and what systems yield is freedom. So if you want more vacation this summer with your family, more holidays, more time off, you've got to build systems for freedom. At the Elements of Closing, we teach a day one, day two system as a starter. And then online, we will teach you how to do re-exam 1, re-exam 2. There's different systems in the office throughout the procedure process that you don't have to be there. And again, if you build this with agreements in your patients into your systems, then you will actually have more free time out of your practice and the systems can run themselves in a very profitable model. Now I've got 2 of my kids behind me playing lacrosse, and part of what I like to do is focus on my legacy and what I'm gonna do that's gonna stand the test of time, something like the Washington Monument here that also stands for freedom. If you build your systems where you can delegate things in your office, you don't have to do your re-exams. Those are the mile markers that keep your patients engaged and interested in the process. And said differently, that's the relevance you need to create. And then this summer, you can take time away from your practice because through the Elements of Closing, we are also going to be teaching the associate model this fall. Now, if you want more information, message me about the associate model because those seminars are already filling up and they're off the radar. You see, they're only available to alumni of the Elements of Closing. So if you ever wanted my associate model where I get so much freedom, you've got to go to Elements of Closing. That's step 1. Everybody has to do it. And if you're an alumni, you can then get an invite to the associate model. But I'll share a little something right here. Your CAs have more trust than you, the doctors. See, Gallup has done studies for years that shows the paraprofessional has more trust than the professional themselves. So if you can pass some of these things to your CA, they actually have more trust as a paraprofessional than you do as the professional, and you can leave your office more regularly this summer, take more vacation time, but it starts by getting to an Elements of Closing, and only the alumni of that workshop will get the associate model invite. And believe me, you want to be there. If you've ever followed what we do on Facebook and how much I travel, I always get asked, how do you do it, Doc? Well, we've got a system and a procedure, and you can have it too. So I'm working on my legacy out here on the East Coast, just adjusted Stanley Cup winner today, a week after winning it here in DC, looking at some colleges with my oldest and definitely focusing on my legacy. You can see my 2 children back there playing some lacrosse, and I'll tell you, if you want more freedom, get organized and systematized, and that honestly starts by getting to the Elements of Closing. Cheers, start delegating so you can begin elevating. Rock and roll.